We lost Sean.
Bye, girl. Now he wants to come in. Sign in if you would grant access to this video. This is a
I
private.
guess.
Please sign in to verify that you need it. What? What? What the fuck? What the fuck? Why do I have to sign in? Oh, there we go. Ah, we are live on the freaking YouTube. I think yes, yes, yes. We're live. Hi, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just finish that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and all right. We are back in studio, YouTube. Getting going. We're just gonna clown tonight. I got my good Phillip Crank.
Hello. Ding dong.
Well, that was a fail.
He failed. Live on YouTube, Sean.
Hi, YouTube. We back.
We back. We back. Like Jason Aldean says, we back.
Yeah, we couldn't get him on the show, though, so we have to settle for Nick Jr.
You know, we haven't tried. That's facts.
It's not.
It is two facts. Have you tried to get Jason Aldean on here? Have you
No.
tried?
No.
Don't know. It could be a yes, could be a no.
It could be. It could be. I know people, but I don't know his people. Stupid thing.
Illuminate. Illuminate.
The beyond.
The beyond. Wait, well, no, it's backwards. There we go. Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, it looks just like him.
Whoa.
I know that guy.
Oh my God. He's coming to get you.
I'm gonna have to give you our new logo. I'm not sure where you found that one at.
Yeah.
The deepest, darkest corners of the interwebs.
That was like one of the first trashy ones I found made.
No, I pulled it off the Illuminate Facebook page. The same one that's behind you, actually.
Really?
Yeah, same logo that you got behind you, I think, isn't it?
No.
Nah, not even close.
No. Shut up, Nick.
You failed.
When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. Yeah, Phil, by the way, if you're not already aware, there are no rules to this podcast.
No rules?
You've been on the podcast. Where have you been?
I was just telling you, in case he wasn't aware, nothing's changed. It's been a while since we had Illuminate on. It's been a long time.
It is hard to get out of that social media mindset where you have to watch what you say.
Yeah, not here. I just clicked a little button that says not suitable for kids and upload.
Like
it. All right, gentlemen, you ready to hit record?
Yes.
If we must.
Bree will be joining here in a little bit. She's cooking me food.
Meatloaf!
Okay, I guess we're getting started. Welcome back to the Old World Paranormal Podcast. Sorry, I was not ready for that button to be pushed. Nick usually says, here we go. But we didn't get that today. What is that? What are you showing me?
Is
that like sex oil? What is that?
Yeah, it's come in a bottle. And then you just tip it over. It's called Ghost Goo. I bought it at Gettysburg.
Wow. Nick's favorite toy. Anyway, yes, talking about Gettysburg, we are fresh back from our trip to Gettysburg. What a fun time that was. We did lots of little podcast interviews throughout the weekend, which trying to get some details ironed out with those so we can upload them and let you guys listen to them. I mean, we did interview Batman.
We did, and Batgirl.
And Batgirl. So that was pretty cool. And then I think the highlight, at least for me, was being able to interview John Zaffis. Cool thing about that is I thought he'd sit down with us for like a few minutes, and ended up being like 20, 25 minutes later. We were still having a conversation. So lots of cool interviews over the weekend, lots of cool experiences with friends and what we consider to be our family, all being under the same roof for a week.
I just want
It
to
was
know,
rough.
Sean, you
Oh,
posted the
God.
picture. You posted the picture that you ran over and fangirled with John Zaffis. And
Absolutely, 100%.
you took a picture. I just want to know what happened to the picture of us three.
I still have it.
But you couldn't upload
I-
that one? You couldn't give
I'm
me a
sure
reel
I
of it?
did. Did I not post that one?
I didn't see it anywhere.
I
haven't
could have
seen
because
it.
I don't like you. Could be half of the reason. But no, I
That's
thought I
fucked up.
did.
You can at least give me the picture too, so I can be like, look, I fangirl too.
I'm not gonna lie, totally fangirl. I've been waiting for the opportunity to meet him for years, and it was awesome. And I'm not ashamed to say I fangirl over John Zaffis. And what's the first thing? What's the first thing he said, Nick? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, my radio voice?
He said you had a face for radio.
No, I told him that I've been told I have a face for radio. But he did say I have a radio voice. Anyway, enough about you. Yeah, we are back. Tonight we were supposed to have on Ben Hansen. The Ben Hansen interview has been a very long time in the making due to the fact he was under contract with Discovery Plus. Everything was ironed out. We were ready to rock and roll up until yesterday. For those of you that haven't seen our Facebook post, among the many, many things that Ben Hansen does, and trust me, there are a lot, everything from FBI special agent to being certified scuba diver. He is also involved in safety, fire control, all that good stuff. And he was called out to supervise a security team over in California where these wildfires are happening. So 12-hour shifts, he's going to be manning a fire team and making sure that everybody's safe and everything's going correctly with what they got to do. I spoke with him today. He's going to try to find time in between these things to do this with us still. I told him not to, his what he's doing comes first. So he's going to be on. It's just a matter of time. So don't worry, we're still going to make it happen. Just going to take us maybe a few days longer. So, but that's okay because
I'm
Nick
just
and his
saying
infinite wisdom.
we got a better looking gentleman on the show tonight than Ben Hansen.
We could put that to a vote. Yeah, we've got some
What do
people
you mean
watching
put
us
it
on
to the
YouTube.
vote? Look at that
Well,
guy
hey,
right there, man. That's
I'm
just sexy.
I'm not judgy. This is not a
Think
judgy
of it,
show. Yeah, this is not a judgy show. So we'll put it up to the comments in YouTube. We'll take some votes. Who do you think is better looking? Today's guest, Phil Crank of Illuminate the Beyond, or Ben Hansen from 85 different TV shows.
Well, that's not, you can't just say that.
I
You
can't
just
name
say
them
Ben
all.
Hansen or the great Phillip Crank. That's what you say. Don't put the
Okay. Have a
25
great day.
TV
I'll
shows.
see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Great. How are you all?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh,
Someone
man.
from Dillard's Paranormal said it's the biker beard for you.
It's the biker beard.
The bike
Talking to
beard?
you, Nick, saying you like the biker beard.
It might be. I just like teddy bears.
Nick just wants to pull on it a little bit.
Throwing it out.
100%. 100%. Oh, well, Phil, I don't know. What's Illuminate the Beyond been up to? I haven't seen you since middle of June or beginning of June, wasn't it?
been a minute. We've done where have we been? We've been to Bobby Mackey's. We've been to Old Stone Jail outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we've gone to our home location, one of our favorite locations, Van Leer. It's a coal miners museum. We go there as much as we can. We're going there this weekend. Just been
Nice.
trying to do as much as we can.
Now, last time we went and investigated together, we went and took you down to Converse to meet old Bob Freeman at his location.
Yeah.
What
And
a dude.
Phil, do you want to tell him what I did all night?
Well,
Do you remember?
We were hot. We were sweating. We found every fan we could and turned it on.
did you lay there with money on your junk again?
Oh, yeah, he did that.
Yes, we did. We did. We got Phil on the bed.
I was worth the 20.
He was
Oh,
worth it.
that's nice.
It was better than Carrie with the $1.99. No, it was so gosh darn hot up there. We found a fan, and I literally just carried that fan with me everywhere I went. It was so freaking hot. But other than that, it was a good night. It's always good to go up there and you know, hang out with old Mr. Freeman, and got to get Phil and Amber to go down there and check it out and stuff like that. And so that was fun. And I don't know. I'm
It was
just
pretty amazing. Sitting there, about when we first got started, not even got equipment set up yet, hearing that door try to open on us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will never forget that one.
Which door?
Dude, so the room or the bed where we normally have people lay on. and then
Yeah,
we put
that
the
first
shit
or
on.
second room there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that the door on the door comes from the hallway where it's locked.
Okay.
Okay. Bree, Phil, and I were in that room. We were talking, and we thought Bree's son was walking down the hallway because we heard footsteps. Somebody's walking down the hallway. Then they grab the handle like trying to open the door.
Yeah.
We're like nobody's here, kind of messing around. So Bree walks out to the hallway. There's nobody in the hallway.
Okay.
Amber's down somewhere else, and Alex is in Dillinger's room just sitting down. He's like, I
Amber and
ain't
Bob were talking.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. I mean, legit, somebody walked up to the door. We heard the footsteps. We heard the door rattle. I don't know if the handle actually turned, but you heard the.
Yeah. That whole building is just amazing. I love it there.
I
And
didn't know
Bob
that
is
door.
such an awesome guy.
I didn't know that door was locked shut. I kind of wish it wasn't, so it could have opened. Would have been even more like awesome.
That would have been cool.
So, talking to Phil earlier, Sean, he wants to dive into theories. So when
At least it's not demons.
it's not demons. For fuck's sakes, people, it ain't demons. While they were here for a couple days over the weekend, we got a chance. We sat down. We were kind of just like, I don't know, going over certain theories of, paranormal investigating, ghost hunting, the afterlife, and stuff like that. And
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, I'll let you lead the way, Phil.
Yeah, let's have it.
Well,
What's a good theory?
Well, I talked to one of my good friends, April. Oh, I'm sorry, our teammate April, good friend April, also right before we talked for probably an hour and a half about the subject, and I wrote a few notes down. But what if what we are seeing aren't ghosts, but like different beings that show up when they want to?
Like extraterrestrial beings, or
Maybe, or interdimensional. I mean, you could do a long list of what these beings could possibly be.
It makes sense. And the funny thing is, when you're talking about the theory like that, recent movies nowadays have made that concept easier to understand with like the Marvel and the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. Was it Loki? the television series with the TVA, the time variance, and all the different timelines. It makes stuff like that a little bit easier to understand. And as strange as it is, a comic book movie can get you thinking about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line to anything when we're talking about this is we're dealing with some kind of energy. So, in the theory that you're talking about, how does energy fit into? Oh my gosh, that right there! It's like being at the Outback Steakhouse. That's a good steak. Yeah.
Homemade.
Okay. Takes me about 20 minutes to get there. I can still do this on the drive. No.
I'll be there in 5 hours.
There's enough. You could probably come eat with us, Sean. Like, legit. We're going to be having meatloaf for a couple of days. I think this was about 10 pounds. Like,
Jeez.
I don't know if you can see. It's about 2 inches thick.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a slab.
That's what she said.
No, she meant long.
My life, everyone. My life.
Anyway.
I'll be back. Do you need anything before I come back?
No.
All right.
I'm just going to hang out and eat some meatloaf.
Yeah. But yeah, when you're talking about, other creatures, I mean, or other beings, how does the concept of these beings being energy kind of fit in? Do you think it's actually something in a form trying to manifest or manifesting as an energy? How do you think that works? What's your theory on that?
I don't know. Like, yeah,
I mean, this was your theory. I'm just throwing you questions there.
No, it was technically it was April's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like everything's made out of energy. So if they can learn how to manipulate the energy, sure.
Well, we've been talking a lot lately about, and this goes back to when, and he himself even has caught some slack posting about this, but Kalani's time, one of the times at the Bell where he was there for a week live streaming, and he was talking with somebody in the embalming room and had a lengthy conversation with the person, and the person told him it was the year 2080 something, and he was there ghost hunting, and he thought Kalani was a spirit he was talking to, and he had talked about he's standing in the rubble of the Bell ghost hunting. And so it another question is, it just a time loop? Kind of like, a time travel, but I don't know, somehow with the loop, and because they talk about all the time that we jump timelines.
Do you mean like a ghost loop? Sorry, yes. Sean Austin, if you're listening to this, he's gonna kill me.
He fucking hates us. He hates us. But yeah, or even another theory is that the extraterrestrial beings like the gray men or green aliens are actually us down the line, and they are coming back because as history repeats itself, they need to come back and abduct us now to take samples to prevent something that's coming in the future, like because they talk a lot about how the alien, like the gray man, like that's an outer shell. I mean that could be another theory. But I do like the time loop theory. I think that explains some of the stuff. Especially the intelligent hauntings that we communicate with. Doesn't really explain the residual, obviously, because that is environmental. In nature, I'm sounding like fucking Kamala Harrison. Sorry. What would be is then eventually going to be. That just popped in my head. My bad. Send the emails to Sean Coletta at
no.
Another friend of mine, Zach, he mentioned slips in time. So it kind of goes back with what you're saying about time loop, slips in time, and that Kalani had that experience.
Mm-hmm. What's crazy is he posted about it, and he had some more experiences with it at a couple other places, so he was very intrigued by it. Then he posted it and he got slammed for it on social media. I'm like, how can you slam that theory? I don't understand. How can you okay, one, how can you prove it? But you also can't disprove that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, it just makes you wonder, how close these different, I don't know, do I say timelines, or maybe like you were saying, like time loops, like how close they exist. I always say that, when when we're interacting with these spirits, I always wonder, are they looking at me, wondering what I'm doing there and trying to figure out what I am? Are they just going about their day, and here I am with the cat ball saying, "Hey, if you're here, can you push that cat ball?" It's like, I just imagine some of them looking at me going, "Who is this guy? Why is he asking me to do this?" Trying to talk to me like maybe he thinks I'm really there in his space. Like, I don't know. We could theorize about this stuff forever, and maybe one of the things we theorize about is correct, but there'll be a point in time, I assume, where we'll eventually know. That time when I come back to haunt Nick for all eternity, and I won't touch your cat balls.
I look forward to it.
But
while Amber
it's
was
just
doing
interesting.
that for her last investigation, I asked, "Can you see me?" And it came through no. So, okay, so you can just hear me, and I believe it said yes.
That's kind of scary at the same time. It is interesting. Some guy just sitting there, and all of a sudden he hears a voice come out of thin air. Like, what does he think it is? Is it, is it God speaking to me? What? I don't know. Again, another interesting thought. Like, why can't you see me?
Here's an interesting theory, guys. How come you'll never find in any hieroglyphics around the globe them eating salad?
That just took a left turn. What does that have to do with anything?
They ate meat.
Fuck.
They ate animals.
Yeah, I mean, it shows them killing animals and this or that, but it never shows them killing that head of lettuce.
No good story starts with eating a salad.
See,
Man, I really thought Nick was going somewhere with the salad theory. I need to write that down.
I mean, great way for, you got to poop, you eat a massive salad, just not all the extra junk on it that makes it like 1,200 calories. But
like
yeah,
10-pound
you could have
meatloaf.
a good story from that. I mean, or potatoes.
I mean, for me, what I believe in the afterlife, as of right now, my thought process changes on all time. But I feel like we do die, and our soul does depart from our flesh, and then we have ample amount of time before we have to cross in the light. Now it is free will; you do not have to go. You can stay earthbound or in this 3D dimension or this or that, but you really should go through the light. I mean, for me, I don't believe in the heaven and hell aspect. I believe in more dimensions or levels that you yourself have to go through. So let's say somebody's lived 500 lives, but they're only on level 4 because they're just not getting what they're supposed to understand or learn in their lifetime. So they're constantly dying and have to come back and learn that lesson before they move up. And I think that when you get up to, let's say there's 12 levels. I always say 12. For some reason 12 sticks in my head. But when you get up to like the 10, 11, 12, that's when you become or morph into that spirit guide, that angel like being, something that has got that high upper echelon of knowledge that people would say you're close to God, you're close to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you believe, source or gods or goddesses or whatnot. I think for me, I understand it as that. And it's nothing more than that. I mean, we choose what we're going to do in this lifetime. We choose who we're going to be around, who's our parents, who's our siblings, even to how we're going to die. And that's always been my thought process on it. And it kind of, it evolves a little bit. Even last year, like, Sean and I at the Gettysburg Bash, we sat down with Mike Angus, got his shirt on, Sean Austin, and Kayla Simonton for saving the battlefield. And even after that night, when Coletta asked that question, did you see Jesus? And he got the answer, and it said, yes, I did. I changed my mindset. I mean, what would you do, Philip? Have you ever asked the God or Jesus question on an investigation?
Last investigation, I did sneak in the questions: Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? No response, unfortunately. I have asked these questions, not always getting the answers.
Yeah,
I think asking the question of is there a heaven or is there a hell, I think an answer to that might be too
Complicated
impactful on faith, as opposed to like what Nick was referring to. We were asking questions.
Fantastic.
We were asking questions, and the spirit that we were talking to said they saw their grandmother and stuff like that. And so, asking, did you see Jesus? I don't think was like a make it or break it faith question, as opposed to, is there a heaven or is there a hell? I don't think you'd really want the answer to that. I think that would be, I don't know.
Why would you not want that answer?
Maybe I should simplify the answer to where maybe heaven or hell isn't the concept we think it is. Maybe I should be more detailed in my questions.
Well, like I said, Nick, I think the answer to a question like that would impact somebody's faith. Not everybody, but there would be some people that would be affected by that. And, if it's a Christian asking that question, you probably wouldn't want to know the answer to that. Or you already know the answer to that due to your faith. So why would you ask that question?
I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't
know.
Why
would you ask that question? Is there a heaven or hell?
Curiosity for me.
Because I want to know the answer to it.
I mean, the same reason why you asked, do you like bacon? Did you like cheeseburgers?
What was your favorite ice cream? Did you like sprinkles?
Wouldn't the answer to that possibly affect somebody's faith?
I think that it could take blinders off. I know, coming from a Christian faith background myself.
Can you hear her okay?
See, Bree gets it.
Coming from a Christian faith background.
She's not agreeing with you.
But she gets it.
I do get it. So being, because I've now been involved in the paranormal community field, whatever you want to call what we do. For going, bro, facts. So anyways, but I've been in it for a year and a month now, and my blinders have been ripped off, shattered, stomped, burned. We lovingly spreaded it. I speak English, the ashes. I've come to realize that the Bible, because I was a pastor's wife. I was a youth pastor. So it's not just me saying I come from the Christian faith. I was pretty embedded. I come from, if you were to throw a name on the denomination, it'd be Pentecostal, but I always called myself non-denominational, full Bible believing. So, you come to realize that the Bible has been translated. Like, you really start questioning things. And, I had to study hermeneutics at one point to be a youth pastor. And you know how the Bible was, how the books were chosen, the council that was made. But then you start to realize, how many times has this Bible been translated and then retranslated and translated? So is it translated to fit the Roman Empire at the time for Catholicism? Was it fit? Like it's you got to start looking at how it was translated to fit the narratives of the time period it was used in, like King James, hello, you know. But I mean, do I still hold tight? Is there a God? Yeah. Do I still believe in Jesus? I do. But I feel that, and a lot of people are like, oh, but you're a psychic medium. What do you know about it? I can tell you that I've crossed souls over and I have seen Jesus. I've seen the light. I've seen Jesus. I've seen the, you know, heavenly bodies. But what was cool was when I saw Jesus, I looked out into the crowd of the people that were crossing because it was a lot. I mean, we're talking, this was a massive amount of people. It was like they knew I was coming, they were waiting for me. And, I saw the red dot on somebody's forehead, and I turned and I looked back to where the white light I was projecting was at the time, and Jesus morphed. He ended up with the red dot. Somebody went running by with the head wrap, and Jesus ended up with the head wrap. And I was just like, oh my God. And I ended up talking to Nick about it later. I was like, it's all about love. Like, and I feel like a lot of the Christian tenets, when you backtrack them, they were created for fear mongering, in all honesty.
Okay. So my question is, okay, so we spend so much time. I apologize to cut you off there.
Oh no, you're fine.
So we spend so much time in the field trying to communicate with just spirits in general, but we also get a kick out of running across a malevolent spirit, something negative, or the D word. Oh, I faced 12 demons in an attic and I came out just fine. We have no qualms about doing that. No issues of pushing that. Well, I'm gonna call out the devil. I'm gonna call out Satan. I'm gonna call out this. Just because I can puff my chest out. But when you flip the script and you're like, I want to go and see if I can communicate with something holy, something divine in that aspect, or even ask if there's a heaven or hell, people freak out, be like, wait, no, you can't ask that. Like even that night, Sean, when you literally walked over to Kayla
Mm-hmm.
to her, can I ask this question? And she was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then you were like, hey, Sean, I got a question. And then you asked the question instead of like, hey, I got a question, and just blurting it out. Why is it we can't? Why is I don't understand. Why that's like crossing the line?
I think
Well,
that we
I kind of explained that situation. Like up until that point, I was just kind of under the impression, and I'd been told at some point in time that that's just a question you don't ask. You don't ask, did you see Jesus? But I think the present company at that time, with Sean being there and doing what he does, I felt more comfortable asking that question than I would have in a different circumstance. But, I mean, I was obviously maybe misinformed at some point about asking that question.
What do you think, Phil?
I think we're all curious whether you have faith or not.
Mhm.
You're still curious. You don't know. You want to think you know what's beyond our life, but nobody does. So it happens. So I don't think it hurts anything if you're being respectful and just asking the questions. I don't think it hurts anything. I mean, worst case, they tell you to piss off and you move on to the next one.
Right.
I mean, I definitely think there are a level of questions that we'll ask and they won't answer because I don't think we can. I don't think our brains can comprehend it.
Makes sense.
But if you look at it as again the energy form, universe, the whole aspect, to me, nothing's off limits of asking a question because I think it's all one. I mean, I think the science, the religion, all of it, I think they're all parts of it are correct. And, a little bit here, a little bit here, and it's like it comes together, you know. And like Bree says, when she saw Jesus in that aspect, he morphed into different characters per se to feel the comfort of whoever was coming in, being if it was just a prototypical white man Christian, or if it was a Muslim or somebody in Indian background, you know, hey, I want you to recognize me. I want you to love me. I love you. Welcome you with open arms. It's no different than when we're all out in the field and we are working on helping spirits cross. What do we ask for? We ask for family and loved ones from the light to come through, so this spirit sees a familiar face and understands, well, if this familiar face comes through the light to come get me, then I guess it's okay to go through. I can let that fear go.
So,
Once you go
so,
through that,
so you're saying if you think you're going to see Jesus, if you think you're going to see Saint Peter, that's what you're going to see?
not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, okay, let's say, we're talking to a 45-year-old woman that had passed away, and, it was sudden and traumatically, and, she was lost and confused in her death state. She missed her opportunity to cross, and now she's been in limbo. She's been looking for answers. She's been looking for this, looking for a beacon of light, and let's say, we come to this location and, we walk in, we're just beacons of light. You're going to immediately be drawn to that light. And, we're talking to you, we're communicating, like, do you want to move on? We can help you move on. She's like, yes, but, I'm scared. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want this. I don't want that, because she's still stuck in this three-dimensional plane where, the fear and emotions aspect are still kind of relevant. But if we open that light and we ask like a family member, let's say it's her grandmother that had already passed, and all of a sudden her grandmother comes through the light and she's like, honey, it's time to go. You'll be okay. Just come with me. She's more apt to go through that light versus just some random person that comes through it and says, no, no, yeah, we good, bro. Come with me. And she's like,
Wait a minute, I'll pass.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
So
it, go ahead.
even in the afterlife, you're still scared. You're still don't know what to expect.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, if you're still earthbound, this dimension, let's say we're in the fourth dimension where they're talking about us shifting into the fifth dimension or whatnot. Okay. If your soul is still trapped in this dimension, you are still kind of trapped by, the elements and the physical stuff of your human body. You're worried about your human body. You do have fears. There are nasty negative things running around in this realm that's trying to hold your soul here, um and stuff like that. But again, once you cross that threshold, you cross that light, like, that's it. Like, boom, you go through that transition stage, all that just goes away. It goes away. You are now in your purest form. You are who you're supposed to be. You're gonna sit down. You're gonna go through the life you just had. Did you learn that lesson? Are you going to level up? Per se, or do you need to? Is it rest period, or are you coming right back to Earth to do it all again? Or are you going to a different civilization? In the universe. That I don't know. We're human. We think it's just us. So, but I mean, that's kind of my thought process on it. I mean, babe, you see more into the spiritual realm than I do. Well, I don't. Just say you do in general. I don't. But I don't know. What's your take on it?
So, okay, so that instance in particular, when
I'm
I,
gonna put my microphone.
okay, show everybody your big plate of food. Look at this homemade meal, guys.
Yeah, it looks so good.
That's what I've been nibbling on. I mean, I got smaller portions. Okay, so when at that night when I saw Jesus, I projected the light and was telling them where to go, and they started coming, but it was kind of like there were so many. Like the room was just filled. They were out in the hallways. Like I could see through the window where they were, and they were just lined up. And then family members, like I could tell there were family members, started coming forward in the light, like outstretching their arms and calling these people to come forward. And it was like they just started running. And then as they're running, like these heavenly beings, what I would call angels, they appeared behind
Yep.
the loved ones that had already crossed. And like it's already been relayed to me that angels, like there's no way the human mind would be able to process seeing what an actual angel is because of their sheer magnificence. If you actually do your studies, and I mean, I know I did say, look at the translations of the Bible, blah, blah, blah. But I do believe some of those translations are fact. I won't lie. I do believe there are facts still there. I believe that there's a lot of it that's still true. It's just some of it's like kind of made to sound worse than what it's supposed to and over exaggerated, for the fear mongering. But in the Bible, it actually does describe what angels look like. And, their wings have eyeballs all on them. And the voice that was speaking to me told me that there's no way the human mind would be able, like it could lead to death because it could throw a person into shock, heart attack, stroke. Like we wouldn't be able to process it. It would literally throw us off kilter. And but so I saw like what I would say were heavenly beings, like the angels that we see in our pictures that people portray, what they draw. And then behind them, like this man stepped forward and put his arms out and he said, "Let my children come to me." And he's like calling out, and the people just started running faster. And they would get to their loved one, and I'm watching them morph into the light, and like it would just be brilliant. You didn't see where they went, and more people would step forward, filling that gap and calling out to their loved ones. I've experienced souls who have died tragically that don't understand they're dead. They still think that, that it's almost like Beetlejuice, like, like after they're in the accident and they're in bed and like, they start demoing the house and like you see Gina Davis like go kerplunk on the floor, like when she's awakened. It I've seen spirits like that. They died suddenly, tragically. They don't understand. I've crossed paths with spirits that okay, so one thing that a lot of okay, so what is unique, I feel, with every medium's different. We all see things differently. We hear things differently. Different spirits talk to different people. Not everybody talks to us. I've been told on numerous occasions, "You're not the person I'm supposed to talk to, but hi, this is my name." And they'll answer some very basic generic questions, and then they'll just hang out and follow me around for the night, or they'll bug Nick or Sean or whoever we're with, um but I experienced their death. So when a spirit does open up and does share their story with me, I literally will relive their death. I've relived traumatic motorcycle accidents where somebody flipped over their handlebars, and came down on their head and watched their body go 25, 50 feet down the road, ripping to shreds because they were going over 100 miles an hour, hit the brakes. I've relived auto accidents. I think the most traumatic death that the spirit actually, what I relived his death 5 or 6 times, and it was a 9/11 jumper. I encountered 5 9/11 souls that night, and one of them was very adamant on sharing his story, and he was asking, can you cross me? My mission is done. I didn't go into the light. I saw the souls. I saw people jumping, and it was a wall of, like, he would describe it, and every piece of equipment would go off as I was relaying it, like validating what I was saying. We even had the Epic box, and the Epic box, was like, yes, yes, yes. And, we got a REM pod that normally doesn't go off, was going ape shit. Every experience with spirit is different. Every experience with crossing a soul over is different. Nick, one of the very first spirits I crossed, Nick's the one that's been teaching me about crossing and, being respectful and, what you should and shouldn't say. Because this was all, Japanese to me. This was all complete foreign language. So he's been helping me. And like one of the very first spirits that he helped me with was somebody that didn't want to cross because they wanted vengeance for their death. They wanted their murderer to be apprehended, but it had been so long, the person was no longer alive from what I was seeing and what I was hearing. And his mom stepped forward and she's like, baby, you need to come home. And we actually, I believe this video is on our TikTok pages. As I'm relaying to Nick, we're too far away from the camera, you can't hear us, but I'm relaying to Nick, this is what the mom is saying. Come home, baby, you need to come home, please now. You hear an audible female voice next to my phone going, come home now, please come home. We're 30 feet away and we're whispering in each other's ears, and we'd been whispering in each other's ears for like 2 or 3 minutes, and you don't hear either of us, but then you suddenly hear this female voice audibly, like she's right next to my phone.
Hold on. Give me that picture. I'll show you a picture here. If I get a good.
That's where that happened.
Do you see us? How close we are?
Yeah.
So we're whispering in each other's ear. She's whispering what she's hearing from the mom. Now, when we went back through the TikTok live, you actually hear, because the phone was probably about 40 feet away. It was in the back side of the room from where we were at. And the phone picks up a female, I mean, clear as day, repeated what she was saying in my ear. But
It's not my voice.
But the funny thing is, so there was one other female there, but she was in the room behind the camera with Bob Freeman. And as they were talking, they both looked at each other and said, did you hear that? Did you just hear a female voice?
They thought it was a piece of equipment going off. They heard what my camera recorded, the same female voice.
So there's a couple questions real quick. This is the first time I've ever done this, guys, on the podcast. I've never looked at the YouTube and got
normally I'm doing it for him.
Okay. Debunk. I don't know if that's a man or a woman.
It's our loving.
It's a woman.
It's a woman.
Okay. How long does a soul stay in heaven versus being placed in a new vessel and put back to live another timeline? There's two different things, because once you actually get to that heaven state, which is like you're done, you're angelic, like this or that, you're not coming back unless it's for a mission from the source or God, stuff like that. So you coming back to a new vessel, that just depends how many life cycles you've been through or what level you're on or per se. So it's two different things.
If there's something you got to complete, because I mean, if you look, there's a lot of children that have been born. I find this real interesting. Between the ages of 2 to 5, they start describing traumatic events, the sinking of the Titanic, which they wouldn't know about. World War II fighter pilots dying in action, sailors that were killed in Pearl Harbor. These kids are too young. They're not going to know this type of stuff. And even if they overheard it or saw it, are they old? Their brains don't really retain all that type of big stuff. I mean, they're still learning how to go, pee on the potty.
So they talk a lot, and if you get into the metaphysical side, medium, shamanism, Reiki masters, stuff like that. So we have so many chakras in our body, but we have 7 main chakras. Okay, and a lot of what happens relates to that. They talk about the God aspect, the divine. That's when you have reached to that point, to the divine level, which is up. That's when you ascend, per se. There's a book called Book of Wisdom, and it's really cool because it explains everything through history and what everything really means to the chakras and related to the God aspect, um, everything like that, to what the Freemasons believe, to the Templars, and stuff like that. It's a really cool book. It's a specific author. There are multiple books of wisdom. I just can't find the specific one. There's a guy on TikTok that's always talking about it, but he never has a link on it. I've been trying to get that link, but it's called the Book of Wisdom. So that's really cool. I I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
Well, I mean, I don't think that there's a set time. I mean, different people have different theories. If anybody looks or like follows on um Facebook or mainly on Twitter, Scotty the Medium, a good friend of ours, he actually recently was doing a Q&A series, and he made video clips about reincarnation. And if I remember correctly from what I saw real quick, um he was actually talking about he doesn't believe that you will reincarnate, if there is reincarnation, that you will not reincarnate until everybody like in your age group that is on earth has passed, has done the crossover, and then you guys all regenerate together again.
That's
Which that would make sense,
I can be
because
down with that.
when you like look at the past life connection that you and I have, that could
I
quite
feel like
possibly be.
we're doing all the talking.
Oh my God. Let me here.
Welcome to the Nick and Bree podcast, where we just interview each other.
What? You're good. What if
It's
we?
a new format.
What if they
It's
get
Nick
to
and
a
the
point?
Sometimes Pre-Show.
What'd you say, Phil?
What if they get to? I wonder where along that line is where they get to be like a guardian angel, someone that looks after someone. I wonder where that is in that particular line.
I mean, that could be where you are done. You are in your rest state, per se, and you get that opportunity to follow or guide a specific person, through the rest of their life. Maybe that's your job, your rest job, per se, until they're done too. Then you reascend and go through it and get your new assignment, stuff like that. We've ran into. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said could be. Yeah.
We ran into a situation where Bree and I had a full out argument. I'm not going to tell you where. Okay.
Or fully what it involved.
So we felt like where we were at, there were a lot of holy, like, people there. Okay. And she's like, shut your
I'm
mouth.
looking at her.
You're tiptoeing on.
Okay. So we got to this place where there were specific spirits there, and they were talking about it was their job to draw in lost spirits and help them heal to cross. and there were other beings there, and some of the spirits referenced like they were waiting for us, and we argued. I'm like, if there's things there that have the ability to heal, why don't they just do it? Why do we have to show up to do it? Like why can't they do it?
Fair question.
Maybe they need energy from somewhere else to help them complete whatever it is they're trying to do. Maybe they can't do it on their own.
Or they're not allowed to.
But not allowed to by who?
The
Good
higher
question.
source.
Huh?
The higher source.
Okay. Nick,
I can't
Bree
respond
looks
to
like she's gonna slap you right now.
I didn't give him details.
So what if the consequence for telling that information or telling us stuff that we ask, what if the consequence is back to or no more spirit? You get to be a new soul again. Not a new soul, but you get a new meat suit again.
That's
Because they
deep.
obviously don't want to answer the questions we ask, like what's the consequence?
Maybe we should ask that question. Is there consequences for you as answering our questions?
Did I hear this from you, Nick? I don't remember where I heard this from.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I say a lot of shit.
It all kinds of blends together at some point.
Oh.
Debunk said maybe it costs $1.99 toll fee to cross over.
You know who Debunk is now?
Oh, I know who it is now.
Okay.
Do you guys see what she's doing to me right now? She thought I was going to unleash some very important details on something. And now she's giving me the death stare, and I can feel the energy coming off her that she wants to punch me in the face.
I'd
I thought
have
she
cut
had
the
a hold of
feed.
something.
I
Did
would
you
have had
see
to pull
that?
the plug. She still looks like she's gonna rip your face off while she's munching on her buns.
More
I got a
like,
question for you. So,
yeah.
why do you believe some people are more sensitive than others? Like, why does Bree have abilities that Nick you don't? Like, why do you think? What causes that? Yeah,
I'll give you a crack at it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Before I get in trouble more.
I didn't say anything. I just gave a look. Just
That
be
said a
happy that
million
this
words.
isn't Bree 10 years ago, or we would have been completely kicked off YouTube and everything else. Okay.
We've dodged that bullet up to this point.
Oh no, the ship would have sank with my mouth. I was bad 10 years ago. All right, no need to SOS. You're fine. All right, so
That's what I was trying to do. He knew what I was trying to do.
I've had two actual experiences where I died. Like, I'm dead. I was in surgery getting my tonsils removed. And I can describe to you in full detail what the surgical room looked like, what the doctor and the nurse were talking about, each instrument that was used. And since I spent the last 3 years in orthopedics, I actually know what the names are. Because I handled all the surgical instruments. So, but I could describe what they look like. And I was actually like floating up, like where they have the surgical light that they bring down. I mean, this was early 90s people when I had my tonsils removed. And I was like kind of hanging out up there, like complete out of body experience. They realized what went wrong, and as soon as they started fixing it, next thing I know, I'm waking up in recovery. And they're telling me that I had extreme blood loss and I'd have to stay an extra day or two in the hospital because of it. they told my parents that I was a bleeder. And I turned around when we got home and told my mom, well, you see, the doctor was having an affair with the nurse and was talking about her panties that she left under the passenger seat in the car. And this is what I saw and this is what I heard. And he nicked a vein that caused extreme blood loss. And I flatlined and the machine didn't even go off. It was actually like one of the wires was loose. It didn't even go off. So it wasn't until like he actually started paying attention and was like, shit, there's a lot of blood. So they told my mom they deemed me a quote unquote bleeder. And it's an old medical term for people who don't their blood doesn't coagulate correctly. Um and so that's what my mom always thought. And I told her and I said no. And she's like, we're going to talk to your doctor. And when I went for my follow up, I called the doctor out while I was in the office. 11 years old. That was a lot of fun, let me tell you. The second one was actually within the same time frame, maybe give or take a year or two. I used to professionally train horses in the family's farm that I worked at. They had a permanent campsite. And so if you've ever gone to like camping where you can pitch a tent or they've got permanent campers, you can bring your camper. You know, you've got a pool and the pool is like a square pool, no lifeguard. They may or may not have a rope with the chlorine in it, you know, and there's signs saying no lifeguard on duty, swim at your own risk. And I was actually training. I was a junior lifeguard at the time and I was going through courses and the guy who owned the uh, stables that I worked at, his granddaughter full on didn't know how to swim and she dove straight into the 12-foot and instinct kicked in. I had hair that was long enough I could sit on and I jumped right into the pool. My hair wasn't pulled back, and that's one of the things they always told us, girls with long hair, make sure you got your hair braided or it's pinned up so they don't nobody has something to grab onto, because a person's first instinct is to grab and pull to get to the top, to get to air. And she grabbed me by my hair and stood on my shoulders. And I remember taking when I had to gulp in the water and thinking, this is how I'm gonna die. If my lungs were burning, my throat was burning, and I started drinking the water and everything. It didn't even fade to black. As soon as my eyes shut, I saw gold. I saw the bright light. I saw shadow figure silhouettes start walking towards me. I never saw any actual descriptive facial features, but I could tell that there were male and female, that there was children. And I started going towards them, and a voice said, "It is not your time. You have to go back." And as soon as the K, like he ended the pronunciation of K and back, I woke up to them doing chest compressions on me. Um, my mom was also gifted. Come to find out, she saw many um major catastrophes that we have had in U.S. history. She saw them before they happened. She did a lot of her stuff in dreams, but she would have day visions too, where I have visions. Spirits talk to her and she could see things.
I don't remember what his question was. What was your question?
Like, how do people do it? Well, like, and I'm explaining, like, I've
How do
had
people
near
do
death. Like, how do people more sensitive? Like, I've had near death. My
Yeah.
mom
How are
has it.
some more sensitive than others?
That's not exactly the answer to the question.
No, but it is from
She's
my
explaining tragedy in her
perspective.
life that's brought her to where she's at.
Like, when you've got near death tragic experiences, because I can sit here and say I've had 2 near death experiences. People choke on gum and say, oh my God, I almost died. I had a near death experience. I like to clarify my near death experiences for people so that way they know, like, it's not like I tripped and I fell and I got a boo boo and oh my God, I almost died. You know, well, it's like everybody's like, oh, I can feel the energy in the room, and all of a sudden they're an empath. No, we're all supposed to be empathic people.
Something changes in the brain when people have a near-death experience, and the pineal gland or whatever it is just completely is different and is way more open up. That explains like the mediums and that genre of people. But I think what his question is, how come some people like can communicate better with them than others?
Well, like,
No,
why
no.
are we more
Bring us on the
sensitive?
right path.
More sensitive. Like, I've had 2 near-death experiences. My mom was also, what we would now term psychic medium, with what she saw, with what she heard, with what she experienced. I believe it's genetic. Mm, I have to be careful with how I word
The pink hat.
no, I have to be careful with what I say. My boys are gifted. I believe genetics has something to do with it, but personally, I believe when you have a near death, I believe that everybody is able to do what I do. You just have to allow yourself to open to it. And I think a lot of people, I mean, let's be honest, fear's a nasty thing. And when you live in fear, like, it's fearful. You don't want to see everything. I mean, there's things I see and I tell Nick, I don't want to see this. I don't want to hear this. It's
That
scary.
explains why you're a medium.
Right,
He
but
wants to know
what makes people sensitive, and I believe everybody can be sensitive. I believe everybody's gifted. It's whether or not you're going to accept your gift. It's whether or not you're going to, like, James Bond it.
All right. This is a completely different answer. Okay.
It's related. So, Nick, what did you say about the brain? What was the part of the brain?
Pineal gland.
So you think if someone expands their pineal gland,
Yes.
maybe that could be passed down from mother to child, where theirs is more sensitive because that mother had that traumatic event in their life, or multiple events in their life.
Yes, it does get passed down generation to generation. Typically more on the female side. But
yeah.
Okay, so hold on, Phil.
Sure.
All right. Follow this, guys.
It's the pineal gland, by the way.
This might blow your mind.
Can you spell that? Really, I wrote it down wrong.
What? Penis gland?
It's P-I-N-E-A-L,
No, close.
not the pineal gland. It's a pineal gland, Pineal.
Okay,
Thank you. It's much better.
It's shaped like a pine cone. That's what they call it, the pineal gland. Anyway.
So what we think we communicate with a lot is in frequencies and stuff like that, RF, EMF, EV or VM, stuff like that. Okay, so you have all this energy, right? But also, fuck, I have a lot to say, but I don't know how to put this together. Okay, we believe in the speed of light and the sound with the vibrations. We've proved with frequencies. There's different frequencies, and that causes different effects and stuff like that.
That was actually on my list as well, like sound waves.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So
You are.
each person is so unique, right? So our DNA is completely different. Our fingerprints in each person, everybody has a unique one, right? What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. I just. Okay, so Grim guys don't go Googling it spelled wrong, Philip. Sorry, I'm so glad I followed what I did.
It'll be the first time, boys.
Okay, so each one of us has an electrical current that goes through our body. Okay.
Yes.
We also each person vibrates on a different level, and each person has a different frequency. Okay. Now, I believe that certain people vibe or on certain frequencies, and those match up better with the spiritual realm than some. So some people's frequencies and their vibrations are completely off. That's why they don't get those experiences that some other people do.
I'll agree with that, but a little bit in my experience, I don't have a lot of experience, but usually the people that are more sensitive have had something traumatic in their life. I don't want to talk about my teammates' personal history, but they've had trauma in their life, and some of them have made them better, more open rather to spirits, investigating the stuff we do. So I definitely see both sides of it. but one maybe could lead to the other. Maybe instead of the pineal gland, maybe it's changed their vibration, their frequency,
But
open them up
okay,
more.
if you go and do a CAT scan on, let's say, we grab 20 people that are mediums or shamans that can see into the spiritual realm, and then you take 20 people that have never heard or seen or anything spiritual, paranormal wise. So you do CAT scans. The pineal gland will be a little bit different in the gifted versus the non-gifted.
I would like to see that experiment. That would be neat.
Nick wants to see the pineal gland really bad, I think.
Okay, so Grim Guys
Laugh at
asked,
me
do
all
you
you want.
think trauma may open them up to another level of vibration? Okay, so
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe that 110%, but I also believe that you can go through trauma in life that will shut you down. I've been
Because
having
you change your timeline, your genetic makeup, everything that happened in that traumatic instance, or if you died and you come back, it is completely different. That is why those people are so much closer to the spiritual realm. They can hear them, they can see them, they can feel them. Some of them can just go to the spiritual realm with their own soul and then come back because everything about them, energy wise, genetic wise, has changed in that minute, in that instance.
well, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. But I also believe that with trauma, like say you do not die. I believe that specific kinds of life or death or even fight or flight, like say spousal abuse, domestic violence, um assaults of horrific kinds can that kind of trauma can open somebody up. But I believe, because I had experiences. I can remember back at 6, that's the first time I saw my first full-bodied apparition. It was my great grandmother. I had experiences all throughout life, but the older I got and some of the trauma that I ended up experiencing and going through, I shut down because your brain will go. The brain is amazing with what it does to heal itself and to protect itself, to protect you. And the brain can block shit out, let's be honest, and can put walls up to protect you. And when those walls go up, you lose that connection. Now, what's cool is last year my kids encouraged me, go find yourself. You love the paranormal, go do the paranormal. And the more I healed, the lower those walls came down. And I ended up going through a full awakening, and it brought me right back, if not stronger than where I was previously with my gifts. Now, did the trauma that I sustained later in life, could that have enabled me more? Possibly. I think so. I also think that certain health, mental issues, health diagnosis can also make people more sensitive, because when you look at people who are like high functioning autistic, or on, I'm sorry, they say on the spectrum now, they tend to be more sensitive
Yeah,
to
their brain waves
are completely different. Yeah, so they're more sensitive.
Makes sense.
People with ADHD, I mean, and I'm pretty sure I've got it. Nick can tell you, you guys have experienced it. I chase squirrels.
Okay, so
I love my squirrels.
We-
I mean, squirrel lives matter, damn it.
I love the back.
Yes.
So we talk about all the time. If you want to go out ghost hunting per se, and you want to have a good time and just interact with spirits, you don't want to deal with anything negative or blah blah blah. We talk about all the time. You need to raise the vibration of the place. Lower entity things have a lower vibration. They can't handle that frequency, that high vibration. So you go in, you laugh, you dance, you play some music, you have a good time, you raise that vibration of the place, and then all of a sudden the nicer things start interacting with you, and you don't have any of the negative things. But if you walk in and you're like, I want to talk to this, and you start provoking and you start doing this, or your mood changes, your emotions change, everything. You're getting to that lower vibration, then bam, all of a sudden you go running out because you got grabbed and 4 scratches across your chest, even though that's what you were looking for, but you still ran out like a little beep. It's no different than just our makeup, like us. Like we vibrate on a different level. Phil vibrates on a different level. Sean, he has wieners.
He
I
loves
always vibrate.
my wiener has a first name, and so what's the AI?
So yeah, somebody just said the power of manifestation. I mean, to me, that's what this is all about. So
So kind of go back to what Bree said. I was thinking when I was young, my mom used to say you should talk to something in the kitchen. I don't know what age I was, but I also remember I almost drowned when I was probably barely walking, and she made me take swimming classes after that. So I'm gonna have to ask her what came first, me almost drowning or me talking to things in the kitchen.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, depending on what age you are too. I mean, when you come back into this earth,
Right.
you are still completely wide open up there. It's not until you start to get older and your brain focuses on learning different things, and then your people around you, your parents, your grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, start teaching you things of how the way things are.
Yeah.
Your whole brain and not genetic, but your whole brain and brain waves and everything completely change.
Well, here's something really cool too. So, Philip, when I was 6, after I saw my great grandmother, I had twin brothers that I would play with in the closet. A year later, my mom popped out my twin brothers.
That's neat.
So, how cool is that?
Yeah, I actually heard a similar story
That's
earlier, which
my
I'll
hat.
tell you privately.
You hijacked my
You
hat.
steal my t-shirts all the time. I'm stealing
You
my
like me wearing them as nighties. Shut up.
digging the pink. Yeah, I'm digging it.
That's my hat. I'm taking it back.
What other questions you got, Phil? Fire away.
Um. Oh, I'll tell you one. One that I've thought when I started doing this. Most of the places we've been investigated near have train tracks, at least within earshot. So, and I actually had this happen one time where we heard a train whistle through the spirit box. We're just playing it out loud, and we asked, "Can you ride the train?" And something it sounded like a little boy said yes.
Mhm.
So maybe they can use things like trains to move around.
Oh, I've had
And
them tell me that. Yeah. That's really, I
So,
love hearing when people actually get validating answers to things I hear in different locations. I think that
yeah,
is so cool because it's all connected when you think about it.
and
Hold
if
on.
these spirits are older, maybe that's what they're familiar with, their trains.
so that spirit's in his timeline. So, like in his death state, that's like his timeline. So he's still seeing that train. He's still seeing the way the house was and this or that. So, absolutely, I believe they can probably still get on that train and move around. But the thing with like train tracks, excuse me, um, bodies of water, river, creek, a lake, whatever, near a location, there's so much energy that is involved right there, and it's just pumping in that area all the time. It's just easy for them to use that energy around that specific place. I believe that's why you go to a haunted house that's it's next to the railroad tracks. Most of the time it's going to be a fun night.
And my wife has pointed out, and when I say the part about railroad tracks, she said it probably has to do with ley lines as well, and maybe they are intertwined.
I fully believe in the ley line theory. I fully believe in because train tracks too, you got the metal and you got that it's creating energy, that friction
Hmm.
as it's going down. So it's creating a massive source of energy And then you've got the spirits that are basically hoboing it from location to location.
Right.
You know, I think that's one of the reasons why they're Bobby Mackey's. I believe that's why there was an influx of spirits during certain time frames when with how frequent that train track, not even what 100 yards behind it was used.
Oh, it's 20 feet. It's
Yeah,
right
not
there.
even. I'm like, I don't know. I just
You're
know.
good.
Think about this. So you go to a location that has, let's just say White Hill Mansion.
Yeah.
In New Jersey.
Ooh.
So we were talking to Kyle and his wife Christina at Gettysburg, and of course, in almost 300 years of history at this location, you have different time periods. This house has been a residence. It's been this. It's been that. It's been a restaurant.
So many things.
And of course, it was a brothel at one point. And I asked Kyle, I said, what do you think's the most active part of the location? Do you think you get more of the brothel era or the Revolutionary War era, Civil War, or the restaurant? The restaurant was there for almost like 80 years or something like that.
Just about.
He talks about that small window of the 300 years of the prohibition era, the speakeasy stuff.
The speakeasy is insane.
Because you think about that amount of energy in that location in that time period and the kind of people that hung out there and their energy levels and how much that was just pumped into that area, and who knows what went on in there. You're talking obviously a lot of drinking, drugs, sexual assault, rape. Some people got killed in those, or they get beat up. So there's all this and the influx of a small area that kind of that energy kind of trumps everything else in time period wise. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, when I was at White Hill, I investigated the speakeasy and got insane activity. Yeah, you want to hold her?
I do not want to.
Sean, look.
Can I
Sean,
introduce you,
sleeping
guys?
again? Sean, wake up.
He's on mute.
You were sleeping.
Hi, I'm here.
But
I was
I
typing something
believe,
up.
like with White Hill, like there, the spirits there were crazy. I was there with two other people. One of the people, the spirits did not like at all, and he got shoved down the stairs, I think 2 or 3 times, broke a crap ton of really expensive equipment. Kyle was like, they don't like women behind the bar. You need to show respect. You need to ask if you can go back. And we had cat balls lining the whole bar area. And I asked, can I go back? And every cat ball lit up. Let it, like I was like, can I go back? Can you light them up for yes? And every cat ball like that, all of them lit up. So it
Always tell us.
it
You don't have to live with it.
we've got a room full of dolls, so hush. But no, you guys like Brielle? Oh, hush, Sean. You were snuggling with her.
Annabelle 3.0.
Annabelle 2.0. I had to spend time in the backseat with that thing.
The thing's creepy, man. She looks at you throughout the room.
Her eyes move, and they're not supposed to.
All right, Phil, what else you got? Got anything else?
We want to talk about limestone maybe, or energy that stones bring off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scientific fact that, obviously, natural elements like stone, it Sean says I'm done. I'm going to bed.
Oh, sorry. Oh, did he really?
It's scientifically proven how much energy that comes off of these things, and they just absorb the energy around them, and it holds it. Same with wood,
Oh yeah. There's definitely. I mean, you got to think. When you look at different properties of different organic material, it's made to absorb, and then some of it is not. Some of it is extremely porous. And it's the ones that are extremely porous that they say are able to hold energy. And it's you got to look at it that the locations that are close to these types of porous organic materials, they have, let's be honest, a shit ton of activity. Locations that are built with limestone foundations, that are built on limestone, areas with lots of wooded area around it. That's where you not only have a lot of activity, but you tend to have more cryptid reports as well when you think about it. And cryptids, do they really just blend into the woods, or do they portal? Do they teleport? Are they other dimensional and they phase in and out? Do they live underground?
Kind of going back to
There's so much to it. There's so many different theories when it comes to these types of locations.
our very first thing we talked about. Maybe they can manipulate that energy, cryptids or whatever they are called, wherever they are. They figured it out.
I wouldn't doubt it. When I went to where was it, Hinsdale, for the very first time in October for 3 days, 2 nights. I was out by the Giving Tree, and you got the Giving Tree, and across the way there's these two big trees right across from it, and I was standing in between them, and I kept hearing, "We're under the ground and we are many." So, I do wonder if some live underground, but I also wonder if there is, dimensions. There's a different plane.
Cryptids are interdimensional beings.
Oh,
That's my thought.
well, I saw a rake at Hinsdale, and it was weird. Like, it didn't so much scare the shit out of me as it made me go, what the hell did I just see? I didn't know how to process it. I mean, granted, I ran back in the house and locked the door and sat on the couch, I think, for an hour having a conversation with the TikTok live audience, trying to process what I just seen. Because, a rake is a creepy pasta that was created, I believe, in the early 2000s, around 2007. It really came out big in 2018, but there's actual footage that came out of Canada of a family that stopped at a crossroads, and you see a moose eating, and you see this creature come out of the woods that looks just like what a rake does. So is it possible that we manifest these creepy pasta beings into existence?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we believe in positive manifestation, right? For ourselves, for our family, our friends.
Yeah.
People out there perform negative intention manifestations towards other people that practice in the dark magics. Why could we not manifest something by making it bigger than what it's supposed to be through storytelling?
All right, I got one more. So
Lord.
April was telling me. Sorry. Did you say something, Nick?
No, go ahead.
Oh, April was telling me about, I believe it was like maybe last year, an epilepsy patient was getting, I guess, a brain scan, CAT scan, whatever, and they passed away, or I think they passed away while they were getting scanned. So the scan continued, and the brain functions continued while they were gone, and it went into, I believe, their like memory area,
Mhm.
and it stayed there for I think a minute. You sent me the article.
You can look this up on YouTube. The doctor that this happened to was all over the news, and he actually shows on like the morning news channels and like on the different stations that he's on. They actually show this CAT scan of how it transitioned, because it's the very first time it has ever happened, somebody dying in the process, and they capture what happens with the brain waves.
Yeah, I'm
But
glad you're
yeah,
familiar.
I saw that.
So one of my fears, probably crazy fear, is like when we pass away, is our mind locked? Are we locked into our mind? Do we create our own heaven and hell? And what if that story, they got locked into their memories? What if those memories are for some people good, for some people bad? So that's kind of why partial reason I've always wanted to be cremated. I don't want to be a part of this meat suit when I'm gone. Let me out. So I don't know if it's true or not. One of my
What
crazy ideas.
if this is far fetched?
It always.
So that memory part of our brain, the brain was dying during the CAT scan, but the memory part was still okay. What if that is a downloading process happening?
And that's exactly what April mentioned. What if it's getting put in the cloud?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
But you hear people that have, everybody's got a different near-death experience. I've had two, and both of them are different, night and day. But you hear of people that, as they're dying, they see memories. They relive certain parts of their life. Was that what that gentleman was going through? Was he going through his kaleidoscope of memories as he transitioned?
And
Was his life flashing before his eyes, and that's why his memory part of his brain was actually still functioning, because that is what we go through.
and that minute that the test was running was a minute for us. What if it was years for him? Who knows?
I'm more like, during that process, like something else is downloading all that image from your brain type of thing. Almost like
Yeah.
satellite, a Wi-Fi connection. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I thought that
I
was a
hope
cool
that's
story.
not just it, but that doesn't explain what we're communicating with then.
No, not at
Or
all.
us seeing full body apparitions of people, and
Could be a collective of different types of things we're interacting with. I don't know. All
DNM
theory.
Paranormal. I will be getting your book out to you this week. I have to send the one to Phillip and Amber as well. Guys, if you don't know this, I am an author now.
Yeah, we wanted a signed copy.
Paranormal Legacy and the Ugly Truth. You can get it on Amazon, ebook or this paperback. It is about
It's about 342 pages.
342 pages of
Color
awesomeness.
pictures.
It's got pictures.
All right.
There's a lot of pictures throughout the last 7-8 years with Bell to early days to there's a lot of stuff in here, and I didn't leave anything out. That's why it's
You
called
want
the
the
Ugly
tea?
Truth.
You got the ugly tea. It actually ends in May, June of 2023.
Yep. So there'll be a volume 2 to this book eventually.
Then you get to hear about all
Like
of our crazy shit.
So I hope to be a part of some of that.
You will be, buddy.
Of
I
course.
promise. Well, I don't know what to do. I mean, I guess you're the guest of the show, so I have to ask you the questions.
I've answered them before, but we can
He's
give them a
answered
run.
them before, so why don't we think of 3 off the wall that he hasn't had to do before?
First question. Do you do Mexican or pizza?
More 99% Mexican, but I do like pizza.
A energy drink or coffee?
Why do I have to pick?
I don't know because I'm coming up with new questions here.
I like more energy drinks when it's cold and more coffee. I'm sorry, more energy drinks when it's hot, more coffee when it's cold.
Um,
Your craziest experience on an investigation.
Okay, I always go back to Lake Shawnee. I believe I told you, but seeing scratches all the way down my forearm, like 4 lines. And they weren't very deep; they were just intention getters. That was my oh crap moment. Like, yeah, I verbally talk to the spirits. Like, I appreciate you wanting my attention. Please don't do that way.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
had a great time there. I didn't feel like it was evil. Like it was just because it was scratched don't mean it's evil. It's just like, hey, I need to get your attention. I don't know how. This is what I did. So that was
Do you
my
think
craziest
there's
moment.
do you think there's anything that you would run across that would make you quit doing the paranormal?
I mean, if Goatman from Nun 2 popped out, I might walk away. It's gonna have to like, come at me where I have to defend myself. If it's just in the distance, I'll think about it.
Let's see here. Spiritual or scientific?
I believe in both. I try to be a mixture of both. I don't have as much experience with the spiritual as I do the scientific. So I'm more of the equipment guy, but I trust the ladies in my team to be the spiritual ones.
Okay, so the D and M Paranormal wants to know: pink hat or no pink hat? Are you digging the hat? Oh shit, I just whacked myself. You digging the pink hat,
Dig,
man?
I'm digging the hat. The black and pink. The logo needs some black in it too. It looks great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is one of those embroidered ones that I
Okay.
got done. I got like multiple colors, but most of them are sold out.
Yeah, $20 more for black. Got it. I don't blame you.
Um, let me see. What would be your ultimate bucket list?
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz.
Like I haven't done a giant prison yet, so I really want to do like Missouri or West Virginia, like one of those. But Alcatraz would probably be like if I could choose anywhere to be for the night alone. I'd like check that out.
You got one?
Does the chat have any? I can't see the
Great.
chat.
Hold on. This is an important one. Grape jelly or strawberry jelly?
Again, why do I have to pick? Um, I'm more grape, I guess, but I am fully okay with strawberry.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you believe that Richard Simmons already passed away previously?
No,
And
was that
what
a
just
Mandela?
happened, CERN fucked it up. And so
Was
they
that
had him real quick.
was that a Mandela effect? I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
No, because I saw they were going by doing tours, celebrity tours, and he would come out and wave, and like the next day he passed. It's like he was just waving at people. What the hell happened?
Yeah. Did you know that his death is actually being investigated under
No,
suspicious
I
circumstances?
just stated
Because
since
he had just had a doctor's appointment and was like supposedly in really good health.
he's like 80 though. It
He was
happens.
77, and
Close.
people are actually coming forward saying that in the like a few years ago is when he actually died. It was something to do with wardrobe or but these people are stepping forward and they're like, I remember vividly when Richard Simmons passed away. In fact, you know, Dr. Ruth passed away previously before too. Like this is, they just fired CERN up and now they're having to, fix what CERN messed it up.
So if we want to do conspiracy theories, I did see one that they believe the Fruit of the Loom logo that had the cornucopia and they had it did. There was conspiracy theory that the government used that as a test to see how much they could get away with hiding from us. Don't know if it's
I've
true.
heard that
It's something
too.
I've heard.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too.
All I gotta say is it had a cornucopia.
I believe
Totally
it
had
too.
a cornucopia.
I believe Shazam had Sinbad in it.
I don't know.
You know, that's not one
It
you heard.
had Sinbad.
Yeah, even Sinbad apparently claims he didn't do that movie, but I know it exists. I watched it.
I remember watching it with Sinbad.
Yeah,
The hell?
Well, guys, you want to promote anything? What do you got?
check us out on the Facebook and TikTok, YouTube, Illuminate the Beyond. I try to post funny videos and evidence on TikTok, whatever.
You
There's
do
not much
post really good
evidence because
videos.
I
You
like
do
to make
amazing
sure
stuff.
I like to make sure the evidence is legit. So you don't see a whole lot of evidence on there, but you'll see some funny videos.
Well, this is, I don't know. This is probably one of my favorite podcasts. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, just relax.
Just
shoot the
relax
shit.
and chit chat.
Shooting the shit.
So,
You got to eat meatloaf on camera.
how often do you watch a podcast where a dude's eating?
Hey,
So,
I totally slammed my plate.
No, you didn't.
the dog
Well, you
got
had two
to
bites on it.
it.
That's ketchup.
Oh, okay.
The Dash and the Kit Kat bar, yeah. So, all right, guys, we're gonna hop off here. Phil, thanks for filling in tonight, hanging out with us.
Pleasure. I know I'm not a hero like Ben is and saving the world, but I'm glad to be
Yeah,
here.
But you know what? Sometimes just sitting down and chit chatting with a friend and talking different theories and different perspectives, that's what people are interested in. Like, yeah, everybody likes seeing certain names. They're like, "Ooh, I know that name. I saw this show." But a lot of people have a lot of questions and they want to hear people that they can relate to, that are they follow, and they're like, man, I know this person, I watch them on TikTok, or like, hey, they accepted my friend request, and they follow or they like because it's relatable. It's not, $20 words being dropped every other sentence, or
it's a good thing because I wouldn't understand it.
like
That's what
it's
but
good.
More
you
like
got me into an
$1.99.
English. Whenever
I'm
I
the one
hear a
that
big
drops the
word, I
big
look at
dollar
Amber.
amounts
I'm like,
around here.
what is that?
All right, we're gonna end this podcast. Yeah, we're working on a lot of different things with the podcast. We'll be at not this weekend, but the following weekend we'll be at ISS Con. We're gonna do some more live podcasting. Sean is working on the videos from Gettysburg.
Oh, which, by the way, if you were going to be a vendor or or one of the special guests, and you're going to be at ISS, or you're going to be there just having fun with your team, and you would like a brief 15-20 minute uh piece with the podcast, reach out to me. I'm actually going to be booking the spots. We're going to be running the podcast live and doing pre-recorded bits. And I'm going to be setting up all the time slots and reaching out to people. But if you're going to be there and you're interested, send me a message.
Yeah, come by the table. Let's talk theories.
Nice.
So, all right, Phil, and to everybody across the globe, we appreciate you. YouTube, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Share us out. No, we're not like Mr. Beast and give away free money, but we'll make you laugh.